Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the C Kappa Invitationals. I'm Zyori from moonducktv, and we've got a lot of Dota coming up today. We've got a best of one into a best of three, followed by another best of one. Both the best of ones are elimination. First up, we've got WG.Unity facing off against TNC. This is lower bracket. It's that middle best of three that's going to be that upper bracket finals, Sig Trust versus Fnatic coming up right after this. We're going to glance at the bracket, though it's not going to be too much help because it's not updated. But we're down there in that round 4 of the lower bracket. TNC got knocked down, and Unity did get rid of the Vietnamese team, Nas de Jagen Dot. So we're going to go ahead and get on into it here. We got a Dota 2 match to rock and roll with. And she blows. Got our replay buffer rolling. Good. Everything's looking good. All right, so we've seen quite a bit of WG.Unity, the Warriors United, and I think actually we got to see TNC last time. This isn't the right overlay either. Oh my God, my brain has turned to jello. And we actually saw TNC just the other day actually get removed from the upper bracket by Sig Trust. It was a pretty damn good series. This TNC team is not one to sleep on. What who the favorites are coming into this one? I wonder if these are up on the old betting sites.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, well that's great. Okay,
5 seconds remaining.
Who knows? So far, picks looking fairly straightforward. The United looking to take out most of those split pushing heroes, the Chen, the Lone Druid, and TNC. Earth Spirit and Doom. We're getting pretty used to this patch at this point. I think we're waiting for that big balance patch to strike so we can see a little bit of change here amongst all of these pretty faces, because it seems like teams really do have this meta figured out for the most part, and banning those pushing heroes is definitely warranted. You'll see TNC go for the Vengeful Spirit right into the Nature's Prophet. And boy, has that hero made a resurgence into popularity. And we've seen him played really in a variety of ways. We've seen that just straight split-pushing rat-style Nature's Prophet. We've also seen increasingly this hero get involved earlier on. Level 3, level 4, TPN, try and assist the mid lane, try and assist the side lanes, and make some plays happen there. One of the most annoying things about this hero, though, is that he's really, really hard to shut down. Pretty much no matter what happens, he's going to find some farm somewhere. We've even seen that Aghanim Scepter build, which I would label as just annoying. I don't know how particularly good it is at sealing out games, but you just make trees all over the map. And the cooldown on your ult gets pretty damn low that you're constantly pushing lanes in at all times, but you are giving the enemy more gold. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play the hero that we've seen. And we'll see now Warriors United Gaming look to ban out even more pushing heroes. The Drow Ranger. They've already got okay anti-push with the Invoker. Pretty good at just AoE creep clear in general. Good at defending high ground. Just the nature of Ghost Walk. Pretty good at catching split pushers and heroes like Nature's Prophet, like Drow. We'll see what build he goes for, but especially if it's a Quas Wex Invoker, it can be a little bit difficult for those position-based heroes. Enchantress. I don't think we need to say too much about her. Not a huge amount of synergy between her and Invoker, but two heroes that are individually so goddamn good. Really good in the lanes as well. That's the other thing here. Picking up Ench this early on. She is counterable. We've seen teams have pretty effective, have a pretty good time, rather, with heroes like Lion, Lena, your big bursty cores, or supports for that matter. Anybody with a lot of burst damage does pretty well against the Dryad. TNC thinking about this one, though, and it is hard to read what WG.Unity want to do with this draft, if they want to try and turn it into a pushing lineup, because they absolutely could. You've got Nature's Attendance for a bit of healing, and Invoker is definitely fine in 5-mans. If you want to go that Exort build, you can push pretty early on with Forged Spirits, and you can even do a 4+1 with that Exort Invoker if you get a little bit of setup for the Sunstrike. Before he gets those core items, and he's still just working on that Midas, he'll be happy as a clam to stay mid, farm, and put some pressure on that tower, and then also contribute, maybe find a few kills with the Sunstrike. So, a lot of options. Lots of possibilities.
Dire team pick.
Sven. All right. Good old Sven. So what do you want to do, WG.Unity?
10 seconds
What do
remaining.
you want to do?
5 seconds remaining.
Probably the off-lane Enchantress. One of the
Reserve time.
benefits of grabbing this hero early on is she is actually pretty versatile. Can always put her in the jungle. A strategy that feels kind of forgotten about in our modern age of Dota 2. But they will maintain that flexibility. Throughout this tournament, we've seen this kind of mini meta evolve where a lot of teams have found huge gains going for a greedy 4, like a Doom in the jungle, Enigma in the jungle, even Enchantress in the jungle. Just sit back and farm, and then 30 minutes, it's kind of a battle of which team was able to farm more. It is risky, though. We've seen that strategy also backfire. When you go for the dedicated jungler, it can be hard to support your lanes if things start to go poorly. They will pick up the Lion here, though. Maybe a bit of a deny pick. I guess kind of gambling that Lina probably won't be a likely support choice. But Lion could have synergized well with the Venge. They've got some serious roaming capabilities there, a lot to disable across those supports. So they'll grab it for themselves. WG.Unity could use some control, so Lion fits in well, just kind of regardless, but also does block that burst damage from coming out against the Enchantress. TNC will take, well, different choice for a support, but Witch Doctor up there with the Lion. Slightly less reliable crowd control in terms of the cask bouncing around, a little bit of RNG factor there, but still a lot of kill potential, especially in those early levels. You'll have Maledict, which the Witch Doctor could level up if WG.Unity grabs somebody real beefy, real tanky, like a Bristleback or something. And of course, you've got that Death Ward for some pretty good damage. So for TNC, they're looking to be all right. 2 supports that should scale pretty well into the late game and should be able to do quite a bit in that early laning phase as well. Of course, they're going to need a carry and a mid for their final 2 picks. Outworld Devourer is still in the pool here, surprisingly enough. Could be a hero that these teams are looking at, especially TNC, somebody that could kind of match up against the Invoker, put some pressure on. Somebody that'll feel okay sitting in that lane. Like I said before, Invoker will want to farm quite a bit to the early game, so grabbing someone like OD who can just sit there and farm with him could be a good choice. But both teams will settle for their safe lane carries. Ember Spirit here for WG.Unity and Juggernaut for TNC. All right, both these drafts starting to come together, though. And really not too different from one another. Overall, fairly well-rounded, some good stuns. Nice melee carry there. The big difference that I see is TNC have better healing. You got the healing ward from Jug. You got the Voodoo Restoration from the Witch Doctor. That's a fair bit of healing for whenever they want to clump up and knock down some towers. Just a lot of sustain to keep those treants alive.
Radiant team ban.
OD could actually be a really good last pick for TNC. It would put them a little bit light on crowd controls, but would give them quite a bit of carry power. And OD can kind of work in that 5-man mid game. The mana aura does help sustain things quite a bit. Instead, WG.Unity ban out the Oracle. Interesting. I guess they're thinking it might be a carry Venge of sorts, or kind of a core Oracle. Kind of an odd ban. The Beastmaster, though, almost surprised to see he's made it this far into the draft. He's been a very popular pick this patch, just across the board. Mostly for the vision control, but always good to have those BKB piercing stuns.
5 seconds
So WG.Unity, they either need a support or an offlaner here. They still got that flexibility.
Reserve time.
I think they could get away with a jungling Enchantress here. As long as they take an offlaner that has some AoE. And there you go. It's the Darkseer. And talk about some AoE. I'm going to go ahead and say a lot of AoE. Now, usually Darkseer is that great offlaner to pressure melee safe lane carries. Jug, one of the better carries to deal with the Darkseer, mostly because of the healing ward. Just gives him that extra little bit of regen to deal with the Ion Shell. And he can also just spin out and TP home. So if he ever gets into a sticky wicket, he can spin and he can head out. Oh, and there he is. Old Dirty himself. Outworld Devourer, the final pick for TNC, and that one I think is pretty obvious. If I'm able to call it, it's pretty obvious, but no, OD, really good just in general. A hero that is hard to pass up when he makes it this far into the draft, though. He's also one of those heroes that I feel like when he's winning, he looks unstoppable, and when he's losing, he looks kind of useless. He's kind of in that odd state, and there's no doubt that he's real damn powerful right now, but he does take some momentum to kind of get going. If he has a good laning stage, if he kind of dominates, he can carry that and just take over now that his auto attacks steal in, but not the most mobile hero. If you gank him a lot early on, he can definitely kind of become a liability. That ultimate is all about scaling and staying a hop and a skip ahead of your enemies in terms of int. And draining mana is helpful, but you're really hoping to drop the hammer for big damage, not just to say goodbye to all their mana. I like these drafts, though, folks. Honestly, I think these are fairly even lineups we've got going on here. This should be a pretty good game. From what we've seen throughout this tournament, all of the teams remaining are definitely have definitely had impressive matches so far, and I think this should be a pretty close one. Maybe a slight advantage to TNC. If I had to put numbers on this, I'd probably go like 55-45, maybe 60-40. But I think even 60-40 is a bit generous, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and log out of Steam here real quick so we don't have to deal with that. And so Poop Feast 420 doesn't send me messages. We're good friends, but sometimes he crosses the line. All right, ladies and germs. 5-hero smoke from TNC. They scattered out with the Treant here. Are they going to find somebody, though? They bump right into the Darkseer. He turns tail and run, and the Jug loses his smoke. A noble effort from TNC, but unfortunately for them, this initial rotation does not yield a hell of a lot. Radiant get a sentry ward down here. Okay. Interesting placement. And Dire just going to get a observer down into the entryway into the jungle. Don't believe this blocks any camps here. Just gives a little bit of intel as to where everybody's going. So leave the pull camp open. Meanwhile, at the top rune spawn, looks like some action could break out. Venge taking some auto attacks, but it's the Raven that goes in hard. Vengeful Spirit maybe in a bit deep, but now the cask is bouncing around. A lot of heroes getting low. Who's actually going to find the first blood? Looks like no one. Both sides still going at it. Afu. 2 more auto attacks. They might be able to get him, but no, the Enchantress will walk away. She did go for the Enchant level 1. Hoping to find the first blood with the slow, but can't quite grab it. So a bit of damage exchanged, and then everybody makes it back to lane. Take a look at the lane setup here, and it looks like nothing too crazy. OD will be mid for the Radiant, and Venge will start out here. Jug safe lane. Darkseer will get the matchup he was looking for, and the offlaner there, and it looks like Enchantress will indeed be mostly just hanging out in the jungle. Ember Spirit goes to the safe lane, has the Lion lingering nearby. Samuel Harris up top, stunned by the Lion, caught by the level 1 Searing Chains. Still in the early levels here. Not a lot of kill power, but putting pressure on the Prophet already. Vengeful Spirit now rotating around from the high ground. Wants to try to set something up on the Invoker. They'll use the Astral to get it started. I'm not sure if they'll have the damage for this, but they're going to have a go. There's the Magic Missile. A few more auto attacks, and oh, baby, do they have it. Uh-oh, uphill miss. One more, and Winter G, Small Sun, will make it happen. Got nervous for a second there. He wanted to give the first blood to T-He. The uphill miss. I don't even want to say almost cost him the kill. It was a surefire deal. And a good rotation from the Venge. You don't often expect the Radiant Venge to sneak around and then come down from this way. It was a crafty little play. Good setup from the OD as well to utilize the Astral there. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, pull through into this double-stacked camp. Darkseer, and kind of loving it. He's got himself the Ion Shell. Should be able to rack up a couple of last hits here. Radiant doing what they can to clear him up with the Coconut, as well as the Scream. Now Darkseer, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got the Surge, he's going to be on the run, but there's the stun from the Venge. It's another kill for TNC. 2 for 0. Darkseer got some decent experience out of that. Did ding level 3 before he died, but that'll be his first death now in the offlane. Noble effort there. Meanwhile, back in the mid, life getting a little more difficult for OD. We see this guy having a dance party in the tree line, and that's the Enchantress, buddy. Oh, nice Astral. Blocks out the Sunstrike, but he could still be in some trouble as he comes out. Nana is there. And oh man, does that Tornado do a lot of damage. They get a counter kill the other way. And it's the Invoker that gets credit for that one. Very nice setup there. Venge suiciding into Roshan.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As AU continues to do the pull through here. At least hoping. And actually might mistime it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's a tough one. Enchantress now looking for another rotation. You can't sleep on that Tornado, man. That thing actually does an absurd amount of damage. It doesn't even tell you how much damage it does. Well, it does a fuckload. It's real hard to deal with, too. Because all you can do is just kill the Wild Wing Ripper. Or stun him, I guess. But look at this. It's a huge AoE. It's going to clear out the creep wave and just completely zone back Nature's Prophet for now. Talk about space created. That'll force out a Glyph, and already Zaki and the Ember Spirit just laying into this tower. Teehee being a bully here in the mid. There's a Magic Missile. Rotation from Winter G, the small sun. More auto attacks. They get another kill on the mid lane. Goes right back the other way. TNC pick up this one. 3-1 in terms of hero kills. Sam H will finally kill the big pink bird. And may bump into the Enchantress here. Sees her creeping away at his Satyr camp. Might be able to block her out. Puts a little bit of damage into her. And then just kind of just standing there tanking it. I'm really surprised he doesn't try to block this out with the Treants. Well, it doesn't need to, I guess. She's going to come around the other way. Purge from the Banisher. Sam H says, let's TP the hell out of here, and he does make it. Bit of a close call, and I guess now we see why he didn't block it out, because he didn't really want to fight to begin with. Though he does live to tell the tale, and that's what's important. So far, things looking pretty good for both sides. TNC with a lead, about 750 net worth so far. Some of that coming from the hero kills, but also getting a fair bit out of these lanes here. So far for WG.Unity, I think this rotating Ench has been pretty effective. Only level 3, but set up a kill on the mid. Put some pressure on the Nature's Prophet. Made a lot of space for this Ember Spirit to farm. They've almost taken out this tier 1 tower already. And a lot of that credit does go to the Enchantress. Prophet rejoining the lane, and lo and behold, who's nearby? Can he find the deny? No, it goes to the Dire. Now Ember Spirit could be in some trouble. TP coming in from the bench, stunned by the line, though, straight away. Looks like Ember Spirit's going to make it out. Now the Purge onto the bench. Sunstrike on the way. It'll connect, and she's dead. That's an Enchantress, getting credit for that one. Now, meanwhile, Ember Spirit looks like he used the healing salve. We'll be able to just walk back through the tree line, find his friends. And after all that, it will be a hero kill and a tower kill going the way of the Dire. And that gold advantage we were just observing will level out a bit as WG.Unity actually pull into the lead. The big disparity right now is coming from the off-laners. This Darkseer proving to be a really good pick. Not much TNC can do to zone him out, and the byproduct of that is he is one of the leading last hitters, 4 up on the Jug, but 32 compared to the 10 of the Nature's Prophet, only level 4 compared to the 6. Darkseer, it's a world of difference. Now that Sam H lost his tier 1 tower, he will have some lane equilibrium. They're going to pull on their side to get the lane back in their control. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, though, it's going to be the Darkseer that's under pressure. He tries to surge away. It'll be fairly effective. Now the Sprout kind of locks him in place, but they can't get there to do the damage. Maledict's already come out. Sunstrike connects, does secure the kill onto the Witch Doctor. A beautiful turnaround. Dire getting credit for yet another one, and the Invoker getting some of that yummy experience from the mid. That is what I'm talking about. If WG can continue to find these little skirmishes, let the Invoker contribute in such a manner, it's going to end up paying huge dividends for their team. Slightly greedier lineup with the way they've been using this Enchantress in the jungle. And plays like that really help out their bottom line. Venge lingering nearby, does have an invisibility rune on. At about half duration now, so they don't have to force this. But good positioning from Nana. Not going to walk too far forward. And Winter G here, considering his options, but not going to go for it. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Enchantress going to bump right into the Prophet. And it's a 3-on-2 down here, as Jug just moves back to the tower and says, all right, guys, there's some heat coming our way. What do we do here? It's me versus the world. Prophet leaves him high and dry. Well, not going to be able to get the gank on the Invoker they were hoping for. He'll get the bounty rune. Now Hex onto Winter. There's going to be a cold snap to follow up, but the cask bouncing around Invoker. Oh, Sunstrike will be on the mark. Astral keeps the Venge alive for now. They're going to try to turn it on to Zaki. A few more auto attacks. Teehee might be able to get it, and he will. The Orb will chase him down, secures the kill. Meanwhile, Unity looking for the kill onto the Venge, and Ench will get it. 1 for 1. Lion for Venge. Pretty even trade there. Good positioning here from the Enchantress to chase it down to the jungle and make the kill happen.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, not too bad. They'll take it. But all this time, it's WG.Unity that are finding better farm. Darkseer still pressuring this lane, and the Ember Spirit has just been left completely unchecked. Ember Spirit, one of those carries that you absolutely have to pressure early on. You just can't let him have all this space. He's basically been free farming the entire game, and now that that tower's down, he can just push in, back out, rotate through his jungle, pull the wave, rinse and repeat. And TNC just have their efforts focused elsewhere around the map. And I'm not sure what the game plan is for when they really come online. Now they're just starting to lose this laning stage as more rotations are coming about. The Venge has been pretty active, 1-3-2, not the greatest record in the first 8 minutes. But she has tried to make a lot of kills happen. I just really worry about how much farm this Darkseer is getting. This is a hero that can do a lot with this kind of momentum. I mean, at this rate, we're looking at like a 10, 11-minute mech. And that's pretty scary. That item alone is going to open up a lot of fighting possibilities for WG.Unity. And it looks like there isn't even a mech on the horizon for TNC. They do have slightly better healing, as we talked about, with the Jug and the Witch Doctor. But at that like 15-minute mark, nothing matches a mech. The burst heal, baby. Invoker moving into some Ancients. What do we got here? Hand of Midas on the way. Just a couple hundred gold short. Already has the gloves. So Nana looking at a pretty decent timing here as well. Not the easiest game for the Invoker. As we talked about, OD is definitely one that can stand up against him. You look at that score and deny heavy on both sides of the coin. 37-22 for the OD, 33-16 for the Invoker. Relatively even matchup. He gets the Forge Spirit so he can farm a little bit more effectively. Difficult for OD to kill him, but vice versa. We'll see a little bit of damage come into the Darkseer, but not nearly enough for a kill. Enchantress will just rotate down. She's got phase boots already. Shy of level 6, though. Only 4, actually. So, no impetus, minimal damage, but easily keeps her Darkseer alive with a simple rotation. I feel like Afu's positioning this game has been really good. 2-0-1. Achieved similar to what the Venge has. Except, of course, she is getting a bit more farm and will scale better as she's killing creeps in between these ganks. Ooh, OD gonna grab a haste rune here. See if he can find something with it.
Radiant's middle tower.
A lot of kill potential with this rune. Looks like OD moving into some drums. All right. Double no tally, phase boot drum. Getting some nice early stats here so they can combat. Probably the smart pickup. Realizing he can't go for a greedy build here. That he'll have to fight sooner rather than later. There's the Midas on the Invoker and Ember Spirit, man. We talked about this space that he's been able to get in the top lane, and because of that, it's boots of travel all day, baby. You know, it used to be all about the timing on the Battle Fury. But we've seen this new style of Ember Spirit for quite a while, where BOTs just open up so many more possibilities. Turn this hero into more of a split pusher and grab some farm in between, and he'll still have plenty of time to scale into that Battle Fury crit, anything else that he wants. There it is right on the dot, 11 minutes. We've got a mech delivered to the Darkseer. Also finds level 8, maxed out Ion Shell, 2 points in Surge. This is one happy Darkseer. One of the higher level heroes in the game. Everybody actually pretty high level. Even the supports, just shy of 6, but nobody criminally under-leveled here in this match. TNC from the bottom lane, rotating up. 2 smoked up heroes for WG.Unity, though. Now it's OD coming in. It's a 4-on-3. Darkseer in some trouble. We'll be able to mech and surge away, but not going to survive. OD will chase him down with one last auto attack. Invoker moving into the tree line here. This might not be the position he wants to end up in. Sunstrike right onto the OD, the Finger of Death. What a brilliant setup. Now BOTs from the Ember Spirit. They're going to try to save Nana here as he's locked in the tree line. Actually doesn't have a point in the Sleight of Fist. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. They will get the kill on the Invoker as well as the Lion. Now Ember Spirit going to try to take out the trash, but it's a 1-on-3. Realizes he can't handle the heat, and he will Fire Remnant back to the top lane. A 2 for 3 overall, a bit sloppy from WG.Unity. It was a nice setup onto the OD to bait him into the tree line with the Finger, but in the end, Not really what they were hoping for. They will dust the Enchantress as she walks by. They saw her pick up the Invis with the wards, and that's going to be another freebie for this Radiant squad. Very nice there. Heads up play from the Venge to carry the dust around. They'll also get the Dire Courier. Oh my, oh me. No cargo on that Bad Daddy, but still, that's a nice pickup. Sunstrike connects on the Jug, putting a lot of damage into this tower, but now the wall from the Darkseer on his way down. Healing Ward going to top off the Jug. Swap from the Venge. Will keep Sam H alive a bit longer. Nice body blocks, though, from Wen. Venge going to try to TP home. Do they have any sort of interrupt here? They don't. She almost dies, but the TP goes through. And TNC get out with everyone still alive. Tower does stay standing, though, just barely out of deny range. Raven hiding in the tree line. They might be able to find him, but no, he does walk away. Picked up his Drum of Endurance, so he is actually rather speedy at this point. And now counter push. Will come out from WG.Unity here. Tier 1 taking some heavy right clicks, and it's going to fall.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Wow. Kind of an odd fight. Well, look at the graph. A bump of momentum for TNC, but it is still WG.Unity that are holding on to the lead here, despite that kind of sloppy fight. I feel like that was particularly unfortunate for the Enchantress.
Is under attack.
Thinking she could just kind of walk in. I don't know what the play was there. 1v4. And maybe you can pick off a weak straggler, but definitely not anticipating Venge carrying around a set of dust already. Well, WG.Unity looking for a defense here at this tier 1 mid. A lot of heroes rotating in. Tower just out of deny range as well. Looks like they will make a hold. All 5 heroes of TNC now rotating mid, so they are definitely starting to commence this 5-man push. And they need to make some plays happen here. Witch Doctor is level 7 behind the lines. Tower will fall. Jug finds the last hit. And she's looking for the deny, but can't quite get it. I think WG.Unity are feeling okay with that. All 5 heroes grouped up. Their Ember Spirit is just split pushing side lanes now. He'll BOT down to the bottom. They could have denied that. It would have definitely been in their favor.
Radiant's bottom tower is
So kind of a break even. Really not too bad for TNC. Knocking down towers does help open up the map a little bit. They will start to pressure this Ember Spirit. He won't have his BOTs up for another 20 seconds. And he is in deep here. He does have a Remnant up top. So it should be okay if they initiate on him. But always needs to be careful against a Lion or a Venge. If he gets caught by a stun and then bursted down. Wait, they have the line, pardon me. He gets caught by the Venge into like an Omni Slash or something. Yeah, there's some kill potential there. Looks like a minor issue here. Mouse problem. Remember, folks, this is best of 1 elimination. So this is a big one. Somebody's going home. The question is who? All right, TNC, let's make it rain. Poker's still lacking some core items. You know, this profit really has recovered, though. You look at that net worth chart, and there were 5 heroes in the top, and it was basically all of the cores minus Nature's Prophet after that rough beginning laning phase. But he's got Phase Boot, Drum, another Robe of the Magi. He's going for this right-click build. He hits for 130 a pop. And I have a feeling that's going to turn into an Orchid. Probably not the Blade Mail since he stopped off for drums. But if he went for Blade Mail, that would be the ultimate in right-clicking. Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting, actually. Usually it's one or the other, but hey, you never know. Either way, this Prophet is pretty scary right now. WG.Unity stealing some creeps here. Thinking about who scales better in this matchup, I think it's WG.Unity. We're going to hold that thought, though, as Invoker initiated on. Will be forced to Ghost Walk, and they've got no detection. Venge is the one with the dust. She'll save it for now. Smoked up still.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's TNC that move into the Roche Pit. They will be able to take it down pretty quick. They've got the Scream from the Venge.
Radiant's
And that little bit of minus armor actually really accelerates this.
Radiant structures
WG.Unity either don't care or don't know. And I think it's the former. They're going to group up and just go for this tier 2 in the top lane.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They hand over the Aegis. And now it's TNC that actually want to take the fight. Outworld Devourer picks it up. Good little play for the Radiant here. But I think part of the reason why WG.Unity aren't so worried about it is because they feel like they've got better late game going on. Jug and OD are both pretty good late game heroes, but a little more one-dimensional. With the long duration ultimates, when both of those are down, they're just a lot less scary. But with heroes like Invoker, Darkseer, Ember Spirit, a little more spammable, and I think they just scale a little better. Ember Spirit does big AoE cleave damage, whereas Jug, not even going for a Battle Fury here. His damage is much more bursty around the Omni Slash, catching people out of position and utilizing the time effect of the healing ward for these long, drawn-out fights. But WG.Unity, man, they have so much power to just insta-gib somebody. Line 2/3 of the way to the Blink. Once he has that, you can Blink, Hex, Finger. Any kind of follow-up, Sunstrike, Searing Chains should pretty much yield a kill. You've got Enchantress, who is really the difference maker from my perspective. Oh, Omni Slash just gets her. It's actually the Nature's Prophet that gets the last hit. Very nice setup there, just as I'm talking about Enchi. But she's that greedy position 4 that can still kind of scale into a carry. And you look at TNC, their position 4, well, it's just a support. It's a Witch Doctor. And that alone, I think, gives WG.Unity so much more presence in the late game. So they'll be okay to hand over Roche if that means they get space to farm and keep maxing out on their cores here. Invoker as well as the Ember Spirit topping the net worth chart. I feel like TNC are just kind of hanging on right now. Like, yeah, they're pushing. They're going to get this tower. But WG.Unity are holding on to a lead, and they're just consistently keeping their cores a bit ahead. They'll trade towers as they clear out the Tier 1 mid for their Tier 1 top. And it looks like WG.Unity are actually just going to keep on pushing here. They are splitting as well. Ember Spirit in the bottom lane now has the Battle Fury to go with his BOT, so he can actually clear out creep waves pretty damn fast. Meanwhile, in the mid, TP back in. Radiant want to mount a defense here. Darkseer's the one that's initiated on, but he mechs up right away. Just tanks the Witch Doctor so far. There's the swap. Witch Doctor falls first, and Winter could be in some trouble. No, perhaps not. It's Teehee chasing him down. Nana on the run. Jug doesn't have an Omni Slash, but he's got a spin. This might be enough damage. Invoker falls. 2 for 1 so far, and it's not over yet. Winter trying to chase down the Enchantress. We'll have a stun in about 2. Nature's Prophet on his way in, finds the Sprout. It connects. There's the stun. Nature's Attendants, though, have already come out. They're only level 2. Gets put inside of the Astral, and this should be a dead Enchantress. He's going to try to TP home. Do they have the auto attacks? Oh, they do. That was a close one. Attendant almost healed her through it. But she makes it. But probably she doesn't make it out. So nice little pick me up there for TNC. The Ember Spirit was split pushing all the time, though, and did finish off that Tier 2 tower. Very nice there. But a big fight finally for TNC. Blink Dagger on the OD, catching them a bit off guard, perhaps. Though there is also now a Blink Dagger that's come out onto the Invoker. Tier 2 tower in the mid lane, taking pressure from TNC. TP's in, vacuum back onto Raven. He'll spin to try to make it away, but they're going to continue to chase him down. Drums on the Jug have been used. Searing Chains connect on the Venge, but now Hex on OD. It's Nana going in forward. Wants to try to finish off the Venge, but did stun, dusted, now mech. Big auto attacks from the OD going in onto the Invoker, but he lives. Everyone's still alive somehow. Looks like the Venge will be the first one to fall. Now OD blinks forward. WG in full retreat mode here. Stun from Zaki. Might actually set it up onto the OD. Enchantress laying in the impetus. 1 or 2 more might get him, and that's the Aegis. Omni Slash will finish off the Enchantress in return. Now surge away from the Darkseer. He'll live, and this Jug will be forced to back out with limited mana and limited options. So OD did fall, but he had the Aegis, so he'll be coming right back to life here. 2,400 gold on him. I think feeling okay with that as they're going to continue the Death Ball. I think TNC feeling like this is a peak at their power curve here. They're going to try to make it happen. Nature's Prophet gets soloed by the Invoker off on the side. And Juggernaut does die in front of the tower to the Darkseer wall combo. They might be able to grab the Witch Doctor as well. Searing Chains connect. He'll try to TP home, but that won't happen. They've got the damage. A 3-0. WG.Unity defend their tower in the mid and end up with a couple of kills to go with it. Beautiful setup from the Invoker. Complete freebie there, just cold snap into all that damage. Now a Blink Dagger coming out on the Ember Spirit. Blink daggers aplenty here. 2 on the Dire, 1 on the Radiant. And speaking of item pickups, it is indeed that Orchid on the Nature's Prophet. He's gone ahead and completed it. So an extra bit of utility for TNC, but not one that'll keep you alive against the Invoker if he catches you out. That's a bit unfortunate. Man, so many drums this game. What is this? Oh, Meatball. They want to have a go on the Invoker. Well, won't be able to make it happen. 4 drums on the side of TNC. You can't see it, but I'm scratching my head right now.
Pull roots and run.
That is peculiar. Should change their name to Team Bongo. TNB. That is crazy. You know, I think 2 drum, can't argue with. 3 drum, some people would say that's a bit of overkill. 4 drums. And you can't help but think, what if one of those was a mech? But you look at the other side, 4 blink daggers. Zacky's picked up his now to go with the Dark Seer. Everybody except the Enchantress is blinking in. That is a lot of mobility, just in general. Blink Dagger's really good here for the Dire. Also, BOT's up on the Invoker. They just have so much more mobility to pressure the map. Like, for TNC, it feels like their game plan is a lot more one-dimensional. Group up is 5. Let's take some team fights. And when we're not team fighting, you know, just kind of farm the space on the map that's ours. WG.Unity strike me as this lineup that has a lot of just map control. They can initiate in almost any pair of their heroes because they have so many blink daggers. They've got 2 BOTs, so any opportunity to split push, create space around the map, I feel like they have the tools to do that. Like, they have the tools to control this game, and TNC have gone for items that make them beefy, but sort of force them to play this game at WG.Unity's behest. You know? Right now, this Dire team is setting the tempo of the game. And they're slowing it down. They're happy to sit back and continue farming. They know that they have the farming tools. The Battle Fury and the Midas. TNC do not. So, all things equal over time, they will just start to pull ahead and raw farm. And they're very comfortable with that. Now Guardian Greaves up on the Dark Seer. Another nice item pickup there. Oh my. Oh my. That Juggernaut. He just evaporated. TNC looking for a counter kill in the bottom lane, but BOT's coming in. Vacuum wall, meatball. Oh god, drums aren't going to save you from that one. Oh, daddy. They fall for the bait, and they go right in. He's got the BKB on, but now he's left all alone. He'll have an Astral, uses it on himself, but that just makes more time for WG to get in position. Comes back out, can't get off the Blink Dagger. He gets hexed, and he will fall. It's a triple kill for the Lion. And just like that, 4 members of TNC hit the deck, and WG.Unity pull further into the lead here. No buybacks available, and they may try to have a go at the high ground. Do we dare take a look at this replay? So here it is. They go in, destroy the Juggernaut in the blink of an eye. TNC think that they're the aggressors here and that they can take a fight. BOT's in from the Invoker. Vacuum, wall, meatball, chains. Oh, God, was that beautiful. What a brilliant setup. I mean, OD tried to get aggressive, but his team just crumbled. That was pretty. That's how I get me jollies. Woo-hoo. Kappa. All right.
Illusion.
About a 10K net worth lead now for WG.Unity. Roshan coming up pretty soon. About a minute's time on that respawn timer. Meanwhile, smoke now from TNC. Definitely starting to feel the heat. And looking at this lineup, you're starting to wonder, what's the game plan here? If you haven't won the game by 25 minutes when you go 4 drums, you're definitely in trouble. That last fight was the 10-second BKB from OD. Down to 9 seconds now. They check out Roche. Disappointed to see the big boy hasn't come back yet. And now just trying to make anything happen out of this smoke. They jump forward. It's an illusion. Oh, no. Well, Space created, as they say. Not going to be exactly what TNC was looking for. And they're just going to have to back out after a wasted smoke, tail between their legs. And just as they walk away, the big boy comes back. The Dire scouted out right away. The Forge Spirit just lingering nearby. And this might be an easy Roche for the Dire, honestly. I mean, TNC, they've got an idea of the timer. They know it's going to be coming up soon, but WG.Unity can just kill it so damn fast. Now they're going to rotate in, Glimmer Cape onto the Venge. They scout it. They see the Invoker. But, of course, he heard the Wave of Terror. He knows as well. And he just ghost walks and blinks out. Very nice. Smoke now from the opposite, WG.Unity. They're going to try to rotate in, thinking perhaps that TNC have moved into the pit. And, of course, they haven't. Smoke gets broken, though. They're going to go for a gank first. They want to pick off at least one hero to dissuade TNC from moving into the pit. Easier said than done, though. Great positioning from the Venge to anticipate that smoke coming in on the way. T-He jumps forward, grabs one with the Astral, but now he gets counter-initiated on with the Hex. Stunned to follow up. Cask will start bouncing around. Only once, though. Doesn't move to the creeps. Zaki, the one that gets left behind, forces a BKB out of the OD. They may lose the Dark Seer as well. He's already used his Greaves. And the OD ult will finish him off. Now the swap from Venge right onto the Ember Spirit. He'll try to Remnant back, but now stunned up, out of mana, and brought down. It's a 4-0. TNC coming out big in that one. After breaking the smoke, WG.Unity getting too cocky in enemy territory. And they completely crumble. Invoker, the only one that stays alive. Huge momentum now going to TNC. It's about a 5K net worth swing. And do we dare glance at that replay of complete and utter destruction. So let's take a look here. Looks like in-game they are going to press forward. And we'll see what they do going up towards the high ground. So the smoke from WG gets broken. You know, we might have to go back to in-game here. They're going to continue sieging high ground. Here we go. We're going to go back to that replay after this. Ember Spirit still down for 20. He's got a buyback. We're going to hold it for now. Tier 3 tower going down fast. Healing ward in the back line. Will actually go down. Now the swap in. They're going to grab Nana. They've got the dust, and they'll bring him down. Vac from the Dark Seer, not enough. Cask bouncing around. Instant buyback from the Invoker, though. He's back in the game, and now TNC will be forced to back out. Ember Spirit also left alive. They're hungry for blood here. WG.Unity want more than nothing, and I'm not sure they'll find it. Sunstrike will be off the mark. TNC on the high ground, thinking about reinitiating. Happy with a Tier 3 tower and a buyback on the Invoker. That definitely hurts, though. Forcing a buyback, then not allowing them to get anything out of it. Not a single consolation kill. And all of a sudden, you look at that gold graph, in this game, within reach for TNC. So let's take a look at that replay. This was the game turner. The time turner, Harry. So WG.Unity get aggressive. They say, hey, we're smoked up. Let's bring the pain. Venge breaks it. TNC back out. And then WG.Unity get cocky. This is where the Ember Spirit goes to farm. Him and the Lion, or him and the Darkseer, rather, are left alone. Lion comes up and tries to counter-initiate. And they're just completely split. 3 on the low ground, 2 on the high ground. And it's not even really a team fight as much as it's a 2-on-5. Jug gets a solo Omni Slash to kill the Enchantress. And then it's a 3-on-5 all of a sudden. Honestly, that fight just came down to piss-poor positioning from WG.Unity. They handed TNC that fight on a silver platter. Back to the live game here, though. WG.Unity, 5 heroes smoked up at the top of their base. They're going to go out and try and catch TNC here. Smoke gets broken again. Beautiful positioning by Winter G, the big sun. But they catch one. They blow up the Outworld Devourer. Finger as well as a meatball. Now Vac Wall. They might be able to grab another. Lion's already fallen to the Jug, but they're going to turn and focus onto the Nature's Prophet. He's got a BKB, but it may not matter. That's a dieback on the Invoker. He ends up dying to the Jug. They're just going to let Raven run around unchecked. He's still got the Aegis of the Immortal, don't forget. It's a 1-for-2, not the fight the Dire were hoping for. What a player, this guy right here. That's back-to-back fights now where he's been the key player to break the smoke, ruin the initiation prowess of the enemy, and completely set it up for his team. Huge plays. Game-winning plays, perhaps. Invoker in the grave for 50 seconds now. They go in onto the Darkseer. He vacs him further into the base, but no wall of replica. Pops the mech. Do they have the damage to bring him down? The Ember Spirit with big AoE damage, though. They've gotten the Darkseer. It'll cost him a Witch Doctor, and now Raven blinks out. He still has the Aegis. They'll leave the small sun behind, and all things considered, it's a good hold for WG.Unity. They do lose 2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'll take that.
But TNC actually don't get the barracks, and that's really what they came for. Even though they end up killing the Darkseer, he is pretty damn tanky. He's picked up a plate mail now. Not easy to bring down.
Dire's bottom tower
You know,
has fallen.
I kind of want to look at that replay, because I want to see what the Jug was doing, man. It seemed like that Jug was just left unchecked for pretty much the entire fight. Although, I kind of want to look at this play from the bench again. So, instant replay here. WG.Unity smoking their base. They feel the push incoming. Just look at this positioning. He's in the trees. He knows that they can't see him, and they just don't know what to do. Half their smoke gets broken. They make a jump and catch the OD. But again, their team is just not all on the same page. The Jug Omni Slash does some work. He focuses down the Invoker, and once he's out of mana, that Diffusal completely locks him down. Man. The Juggernaut. Well, in true C Kappa fashion, just when it looked like this was closing to that insurmountable lead for WG.Unity, they found a way to throw it away, make things more interesting. And now it's TNC that's holding on to a small lead. All things considered, this game's still pretty damn even. My points from earlier do stand, though. I think WG.Unity do have a bit of a late-game edge still. All things equal, if they can find the proper way to initiate, I think they will scale a little bit better. Enchantress did go back for a Hand of Midas, so they are really settling in for this late game. She's picked up the Dragon Lance now, and of course we'll be working on that Aghanim Scepter, but still quite a ways away. And no pieces on the Courier, though they are using Husky, or Dusky the Husky. What a cutie. Speaking of Aghanim Scepters, though, Invoker very close to his. Only about 50 gold off. Let's check in on the Radiant, though. Item-wise, they're actually not in bad shape. OD going for more of this carry-centric build. Blink, BKB, right into the Moon Shard. Just give him some huge attack speed. A lot of synergy there with the Arcane Orb. No big surprise. Looks like Jug is just going to move into a Scotty now. He's picked up the Orb of Venom. And actually not that far off. Less than an ulti Orb. And he's going to have the full thing. Scotty seems pretty good here, actually. Give you some nice HP to deal with all this incoming damage. The slow utility, quite good as well. And not a bad anti-carry item to have. The attack speed slow, pretty good. Just against the Enchantress in particular. Orchid BKB on the Prophet. Is he going Scotty as well? Manta maybe? I'm not sure exactly what's going to become of that ulti orb. Tier 1 tower, or Jesus, Tier 2 tower up top, soon to be rubble. Not too many towers left on the map. After this one falls, just 2 remaining. 1 apiece. Tier 1 in the bottom for the Dire. Why do I keep saying Tier 1? A Tier 2 in the bottom for the Dire, and a Tier 2 in the mid for the Radiant. We may be looking at kind of a stalemate until next Roche comes about. No Aegis on the field right now. We'll see what that RNG timer looks like here in about 45 seconds. But now that WG.Unity have lost all this momentum, they're playing this a little bit more defensive. And I think they're happy to just avoid fighting for the time being, let their double Midas Battle Fury continue to reap some benefits, and continue just to split around the map. Kind of in that mid-game lull here as things settle down. Manta Style up on the Ember Spirit. Maybe not the most common item to see after the Battle Fury, but there is an Orchid in the game sitting on the Nature's Prophet. So that does give him the ability to split push and not just get soloed by the Prophet. Without that Manta, I think Orchid is enough for Prophet to just bring him down.
Regeneration.
Or at least a Prophet +1 could certainly bring him down. Probably a Crystallis on the horizon, though. Full Daedalus for the Ember Spirit. They're going to need him to start doing big damage soon, and Crit Stick is definitely the way to do it. Aghanim Scepter, though, on Invoker. Huge bump for him. That 2-second Invoke, can't argue with that. And there's the Scotty on the Jug.
Well gotten.
45 attack speed slow. That's pretty damn good. Also, the Aether Lens out on the Venge. Level 2 Nether Swap, but gives it some nice beefy range there. Otherwise, it's just a ridiculously good item in general. A couple heroes that it's particularly good on, and Venge is definitely one of them. Also nice to have that extra range on Magic Missile. I mean, you can already Wave of Terror from pretty far, but
middle tower is under attack.
Magic Missile, one of those stuns you have to be pretty darn close for, so it makes Venge's life a lot easier. So here we go. TNC grouped up as 4 in the bottom lane. They want to start pressuring, but WG.Unity doing some splitting. Top lane,
Is under attack.
it's Ember Spirit and a couple of Forge Spirits.
Are fortified.
Prophet going to be the one that comes in to try and defend here.
Dire's bottom tower
We'll do about
is
half
fallen.
damage to the tier 3 tower. Really not bad. That alone is going to pull TNC back. And that is one way that WG.Unity can keep this game going on. Taking a straight up 5v5 to defending their high ground, hit or miss. They could easily lose a fight there. But split pushing and forcing TNC to stay pulled apart, that's a way to do it. Here we go. Initiation coming around the backside. They jump right in onto the Lion. I think Zaki is definitely done for here. Hiding around the tree line, but he will fall. Meanwhile, up on the top part, it's OD that isolates the Darkseer. He brings him down. Buyback right away from the Darkseer. Searing Chains on 2. Teehee in a lot of trouble. He's dead. They'll catch the Venge as well. They might be able to find the Witch Doctor. He's glimmered up for now, but it's not going to last too much longer. BKB used by the Nature's Prophet. He'll TP home. Raven now trying to make it out as well. Blade Fury on, but he doesn't have a TP, and they will be able to chase him down to Affinity. Timbuk2 perhaps. He's going to try to man up onto the Invoker, do what damage he can before he falls, but alas, fall he will.
Mark these words.
It's a 2 for 3 overall. 2 buybacks used on the Dire, Lion and Darkseer. A good time to burn the buybacks to win a fight there, as Roche is up, and those 2 heroes alive will secure them a Roche. As they move into the Roche pit, Witch Doctor, the hell was he doing? Lingering nearby still. Make it 4 for 2. So a little freebie there, and now WG.Unity should be able to grab Roche. It's a really awkward way to engage that fight. We can take a look at the replay here and relive the madness, because it was a weird one. This is Aegis Cheese, by the way. I mean, you can already wave it. My bad.
This burns eternal.
All right, so let's take a look here. So it starts off WG.Unity moving towards the pit, and it's a it's a backstab from TNC. They go right in onto Zaki. It looks like they're going to get the kill on the Lion, but instead it's OD who pops the BKB and completely isolates the Darkseer. He catches him, brings him down basically by himself, and it looks like great. 2 for 0. We got a 5v3, but instant buybacks. That's clearly what wins WG this fight. They don't hesitate at all, and TNC commit pretty deep for it. The Ember Spirit also catches some nice chains, and that's kind of what sets it up, but the instant buyback. Situations like that, that lack of hesitation really makes a difference. So that's a gem that's handed over as well. Going to be in the inventory of the Enchantress. All of a sudden, she's only about 1,500 gold off that Aghanims. That is pretty huge. I think one of the other things that we see from that fight is that WG.Unity just have better team fight in general. Darkseer, one of the best offlaners in terms of his ability to scale. Now level 16, has the maxed out Wall of Replica. So getting Illusions of Jug, Nature's Prophet, it's just going to keep on scaling as they get more damage. I think he's looking at a Shiva's Guard coming out next. Another really good item here. Just more AoE, more damage. And a full Daedalus on the Ember Spirit. He's really starting to get huge.
Behold my searing chains.
Another one of the potential bottlenecks here for TNC. Even though OD is pretty damn big and we've seen him do a lot of damage in these fights, he's not doing AoE damage on the same level as this Ember Spear. We're going to see the Witch Doctor get cornered in the trees. He'll fall in the blink of an eye. But Ember's getting to that point where TNC need to be so cautious about their positioning. They absolutely cannot stay grouped up at all.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Jug needs to be pretty careful of those Manta illusions as well. If he gets slighted right after he pops the Manta, a couple of crits, and that's devastating damage. That RNG starts to become a factor. 5 heroes grouped up. WG.Unity ready to push. They've still got quite a bit of time on the Aegis, about half duration here, 2.5 minutes. Jug split pushing. They'll send the Ember Spirit back, and he will be able to just remnant back down into the fight. This is one of the glories of the BOT Ember Spirit. He can go back to defend and split push and then still be part of the fight.
Invisibility.
7,600 gold on this Invoker. I reckon that's a Scythe of Vice in the works here. Voidstone now picked up. Cheese and crackers he's been farming. Can't believe he hasn't picked anything up yet. Now I think Hex Stick is where it's at here. They've already got the Blink Hex initiation on the Lion. But you can't go wrong with double Hex. Especially against all these BKBs. One of the best ways to deal with a BKB carry, if you can initiate and catch him. Oftentimes that can turn into a kill before magic immunity can even be used. What's wrong about the Darkseer, though? Not the Shiva's Guard. It's a Lotus Orb. So looking for some reflects here. What do we have? What can we recast? We got the Venge Stun, Omni Slash, Cask. Okay. Pretty good Lotus Orb game. Some things to reflect. A couple of stuns that it can purge. Got the double purge now. Lotus Orb and the Guardian Greaves. Yeah, you get stunned by the Venge. You can purge it off. Not bad, not bad. Can reflect the Astral as well. Hard to do, but it's pretty clutch.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So here we go.
Radiant's
Aegis on the Ember Spirit.
fortified.
Less than a minute left on it, though. He's got about 45 seconds. So WG.Unity need to time this appropriately. And he does recast the cask. Only one bounce, but nice use of the Lotus Orb there. Lion hanging onto the gem, just kind of hiding in the tree line. And also the Hex Stick is out on Nana. So WG.Unity are ready to do this. Glyph's already been used, and here we go.
Radiant's
Jug.
bottom tower has fallen.
Illusion here? What is... Oh, Stolen Illusion. Oh, that's cool. Man, look at all these summons as well. They've got the Forged Spirits. They're just slow sieging this. The Aegis does get reclaimed. Do Unity back out here? Or are they just sending the Ember Spirit to push out mid and then to reinitiate? I think probably the latter. If you'll just clear out this creep wave, maybe trying to bait them in, you can just jump in with a Remnant. Lincoln Sphere now on the Ember Spirit. Okay. Great game for the Lincolns. We just went over all that single target for the Lotus Orb, and every single one applies for the Lincolns. I think most importantly, that swap. Probably the big one that he's going to be avoiding. But here we go. Lotus Orb and Lincoln Sphere. Have fun initiating onto that. He'll finish off the ranged barracks. And WG.Unity just slow sieging this. Invoker gets swapped, but blinks back right away. Oh, man, this could be good setup for WG.Unity. The counter initiation Hex. Lion gets hexed as well. It's the Invoker that's still a little sheep, but he's going to live through it. The Guardian Greaves keep him alive. The Death Ward doing a lot of damage on the back line. Oh, my, Witch Doctor survives. Now they're going to be able to bring down the Invoker if they have vision, but they don't. Ember Spirit trying to do what he can. The Lincolns gets used again, but now he's out of mana. He will be brought down. It's a good hold for TNC, and WG.Unity will get repelled. Sunstrike connects on the Jug, but it just doesn't matter. Invoker will be forced to run, and he makes it out. A chaotic fight, to say the least. And we're going to have to take a look at that replay. Invoker going back in. Okay. Trying to buy some time, I guess. Jug now split pushing up top. Glyph comes out. There are buybacks available on all 4 dead heroes. for WG.Unity, and they're going to try to save him for now.
Dire's middle
Jug going
barracks
right for the ranged barracks, the sure damage, and we'll probably be able to get it. Hex now from the Invoker, swap on the Venge. Invoker's all by himself, and they'll bring him down. No buybacks used, and he will pay with his life. Now, 2 buybacks used, Dark Seer and the Ember Spirit to try to hold the base. They'll lose the melee barracks. Venge goes top, and they get the Juggernaut mid as a consolation. They might still be able to get the Venge. She's got no TP, no Blink Dagger, not even a drum charge left. Vacuum back, and yeah, she's definitely going down. Well, a small pick-me-up for the Dire. They burned 2 buybacks on cores. Definitely not what they were hoping for, and of course their Invoker died. Need to time this appropriately. Come on, stay muted, you piece of shit. All right, let's take a look at this team fight, because it was chaotic. All right, so instant replay. Here we go. So Ember Spirit goes in, finishes off the ranged barracks, and then they just try to make the escape. They swap the Invoker. He blinks back. It looks good. But where does all the damage come from? Prophet in the front lines takes huge damage. I think it's mostly from that Death Ward. And oh, daddy, is it. The Witch Doctor just barely survives and does so much freaking damage. That's an Ags upgraded Death Ward. I didn't notice, and neither did they. And now they're going to find the Witch Doctor. They're not going to fall for that again. Defensive Astral will buy him a little bit of time, but Ice Wall comes down. EMP to boot. And I don't think there's going to be too much this Witch Doctor can do to live here. Glimmer Cape almost keeps him alive. But they will chase him down, and Enchantress will get credit for the kill. Buyback, though, from the Witch Doctor. Now WG.Unity jump in. Wall vacuum from the Dark Seer. He's got the Guardian Greaves. He'll use them. What a time for a pause. Awkward here. Dark Seer probably going to go down, and he will. It's going to be another good hold, it looks like, from TNC. Oh, my. What a bad time to disconnect. Oh, WG.Unity. Not like this. Not like this. Oh, God. Well, it was the right idea to focus on the Witch Doctor. But now he'll buy back. Their entire team will DC. Oh, God. Darkseer's dead without a buyback here. So let's just analyze this situation of what's likely to happen when they come back in. I think Enchantress is almost guaranteed to die. Outworld Devourer has a BKB on, so no untouchable. It's like 2 more auto attacks from finding the kill there. So that's 2 down. She does not have a buyback. Invoker might be able to make it away. Probably has a Ghost Walk. Does have his Blink, so he should be able to get out. Lion has a Blink and Force Staff both available, so he should be able to get away here. So this might not be too bad for WG.Unity, but they are guaranteed to lose 2. And with Darkseer and Enchantress both dead, no buyback, this could be pretty scary if TNC just go marching up that mid lane and look to break the base. The Darkseer is the big one. That's a long time in the grave. And he has 2 big support items. Yeah, the Malaysian qualifier team here having some issues. I wonder if TNC can catch anybody else here. Small chance they might be able to grab the Ember Spirit. He will have his Blink Dagger in about 2. Any Blink Daggers available up on these guys? Jug now has picked up the Skull Basher. Well, Prophet could, he's got his BKB on now. He could blink forward and just auto attack the Ember Spirit to try and break his blink. Then maybe they could grab him. OD also has an Astral and an Ultimate. So he could also just Astral the Invoker as soon as they come back. This is going to be weird. This is honestly like the worst time to DC. And it looks like they're having some legit connection issues here. Well, dun dun dun. Well, TNC being good sports about it at least. 40% packet loss. Well, shit. That's a lot of packets to be losing. Come on, man. Gotta find your packets. Oh, sweet Jesus. Well, we've got a big best of 3 coming up after this, folks. Scheduled to start in about 20 minutes. It is Fnatic versus Signature Trust. Oh, it's a biggin. It's a biggin, all right. It's going to be good, good, good. Well, there's nothing to do at a time like this besides listen to shitty music. Nature's Prophet! Nice antlers, bitch! Are you wearing nail polish, Nature's Prophet? Look at you, you little cutie. Look at all those particles! Wow, you know, that song is actually pretty fucking awful. It doesn't get too much worse than that. You know what the saddest part is? That's probably my favorite Monster Cat song. That's the pinnacle of Monster Cat right there. Get stuck in your head, though, I'll tell you what. What the fuck's going on, WG.Unity? Come on, man! You can't just spill a drink on the router and then pretend your packets got lost. We all know what happened. We know what happened. Come on, man. Oh, this is shitty. I don't know what to say. There's 5 people disconnected. 48 minutes into this best of 1 elimination. Like, what do you do? I could read Harry Potter. Would that be nice? We can look at the items. We've already theory crafted the fuck out of what's going on here. It's fairly straightforward. Alright, well, let's look at a close-up of the Enchantress. Oh, God, is she pretty. Kappa? Yeah, that's right. Kappa, Kappa. Alright, here we go. Audrey Napoleon. Looks like OD's about to mount her, dude. There's about to be some kinky animal sex here. Jesus Christ. Ah, you are mine! That's fucking creepy. Oh, Invoker's back, baby. All right. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. We might have a game. We've got 4 out of 5. We got 5 out of 5, baby. Hopefully they can find their packets. Oh no, their packets, guys. Their packets are still in trouble. Looks like their packets are cheating on them with some other packets. It's like having a pet, man. If you don't treat it right, it'll eventually run away. That's a bad analogy. Pets don't run away. They need you to feed them. Well, I was going to put on the happy music, but we haven't resumed yet, so I don't know if it's time for that. I mean, it's... All right. I made this playlist called Best Film Music. It only has 1 song. It's a good one. All right. I'm going to read you a random chapter from the Rise of the Lich King to the Jurassic Park music. Chapter 14. Northrend was the name of the land. Daggercap Bay, the site where the Lordaeron fleet made harbor. The water, deep and choppy, with an unforgiving wind, was a cold blue-gray. Sheer cliffs were dotted with tenacious pine trees soaring upward, providing a natural defense of the small flat area where Arthas and his men would make camp. A waterfall tumbled down, crashing in a billow of spray from a great height. Oh, a billow. I can't read. It was all in all more pleasant a place than he had expected, at least for the moment. Certainly not the obvious home for a demon lord. Arthas jumped from the boat and slogged onto the shore, his eyes darting about, absorbing everything. The wind, keening like a lost child, stirred his long blonde hair, caressing it with cold fingers. Beside him, one of the captains of the ships he had commandeered without consulting his father shivered and clapped his hands together, trying to warn them. This is a light-forsaken land, isn't it? You can barely even see the sun. This howling wind cuts to the bone, and you're not even shaking. Vaguely surprised, Arthas realized the man was right. He felt the cold, felt it knifing into him, but he did not tremble. "My lord, are you all right?" "Captain, are all of my forces accounted for?" Arthas didn't bother to answer the question. It was a foolish one. Of course he wasn't all right. He had been forced to slaughter the populace of an entire city in order to stop a worse atrocity. Jaina and Uther had both turned their backs on him, and a demon lord was awaiting his arrival. "Nearly. There are only a few ships left." "Very well. Our first priority is to set up a base camp with proper defenses. There's no telling what's waiting for us out there in the shadows. Therefore... Oh, there. That would shut the man up and give him something to do." Arthas lent his assistance, working as hard as the man he commanded to erect basic shelter. He mixed Jaina's handiness with flames as they lit fires against the encroaching darkness and cold. Hell, he missed Jaina altogether, but he would learn not to. She failed him when he most needed her, and he would not hold such people in his heart any longer. It needed to be strong, not soft, determined, not aching. There was no place in it for weakness. If he would ever defeat Mal'Ganis, there was no place in it for warmth. The night passed without incident. Arthas stayed awake in his tent until the small hours of the morning, pursuing what incomplete maps he had been able to find. When at last he fell asleep, he dreamed, and it was both joyous and nightmarish. He was again a youth, with everything in the world to look forward to, riding the glorious white horse he so loved. Again, they were one, perfectly paired, and nothing would stop them. And even as he dreamed, Arthas felt the honor descend upon him as he urged Invincible to make the fatal jump. The anguish, not in the slightest abated by the fact that he was a mere dream, and he knew it was such, and it ripped through him yet again. And again, he drew his sword and stabbed his devoted friend through the heart. But this time he realized that he was holding a completely different sword than that simple basic weapon he'd held at that dreadful moment. This time the sword was huge, two-handed, beautifully fashioned. Runes glowed along its edge. Cold blue mist wafted from it, cold as the snow in which Invincible lay. And when he withdrew the sword, Arthas did not find himself staring at a slain beast. No, instead Invincible whickered and leapt to his feet, completely healed, somehow stronger than ever before. He seemed to glow now, his coat radiant rather than merely white, and Arthas bolted, upright, from where he had fallen. Tears in his eyes and the sob of joy on his lips. Surely, this was an omen. Guys, that was pretty epic. We're still stuck in this fucking pause. All right, well, I'm gonna put the divider in there, and that was great. All right, lines reconnected. Let's see if this timing is gonna work out. Are we ready? Here we go. Admin's gonna force a resume even without their packet. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Maybe I should have read Harry Potter instead of World of Warcraft, The Rise of the Lich King. Getting hungry, man. Oh, please. WG.Unity, we need you. We need you. Okay, we've got 5 in the game. All right, here we go. Here we go. TNC, they're in good spot here. They're going to be able to finish off the Enchantress. Oh, but the turnaround Invoker bringing him down. The Finger of Death will destroy the Outworld Devourer. Now it's going to be Zaki in trouble. He's dead as well. It's looking like a good fight for TNC. They lost their OD. It was a good heads-up play from Nana to get that kill before getting the hell out of there. But alas, 3 are down, and TNC might be able to make a play towards the base. No buybacks available. They're going to check out the Roche pit. Much to their dismay, they'll see the big boys not up yet. Less than a minute, but it'll be right around the time when these 3 heroes respawn. They are going to push right up the mid, though. They're going to have a pretty good window here. Probably about 20 seconds or so of time in the base of at least a 4v2. Well, maybe overestimating a bit here. We'll see what they can get done. Enchantress is going to be coming up pretty soon. Right now, Ember Spirit is pushing in the side lane. Okay. Okay. Looks like it will be a pretty easy defense for WG.Unity, though. TNC not going to be able to get there in time, and everyone's going to be coming back to life. So let's just kind of recap where we were in this game before that long pause. Golden Experience charts relatively even. Very small edge for TNC right now. And looking at inventories, we did spend some time gazing and admiring. And things come together really on both sides of the coin. The biggest is that Aghanim Scepter on the Witch Doctor. That was the big damage dealer that allowed TNC to take the last big team fight. Not just the one outside of the base here, but if you can remember back far enough, the one before that. So, no Aegis. Roche is back up. This is Roche 4 at the 50-minute mark. So we've got Aegis and Cheese ripe for the taking here. It looks like WG.Unity will be the ones to scout it out. Invoker just walks right into the pit. And TNC, well, not privy to it quite yet. Not really in the best position to try and contest this. And at this stage of the game, the big boy does fall quick. So it looks like that will be Aegis Cheese going to the Dire. Smoke from TNC, just a spot too late here. They're going to move through their jungle, but I don't think they're going to get there in time to stop the Roche. Hex Stick now out on the OD, gets delivered just as they're on their way in. Omni Slash on the Enchantress. It's a freebie to start this one off. Aegis did go the way of the Ember Spirit, and the rest of WG.Unity will just hightail it out of the pit. Well, a smoke for a kill on the Enchantress. Not all bad here for the Radiant side, but they're definitely hoping for more than that. And if they could have smoked up maybe 10 seconds earlier, even a little bit less than that, they most certainly would have been able to make it into the pit and make a big play there. Kind of unfortunate for them. Now they're going to have to deal with Aegis Cheese. I think Cheese again did end up on the Invoker. Yep, sure did. Still a very even game we've got on our hands here. Both teams have a win condition, and the team that was a little bit behind now has Aegis and Cheese. So it's coming together. Current Gold, seeing a few of these guys carrying some big bills. Oh, Dire's Courier got picked off. Missed that one. Raven holding on to about 6,200. I have a feeling that'll just be an Abyssal Blade. Maybe grab that next Diffusal level. And nope, it's going to be the Abyssal. And then we're going to pool for buyback as well. That bit of lockdown definitely going to come in handy here. Crucial to have against the Ember Spirit as well as the Invoker. Even the Darkseer for that matter. We'll need to be a little careful though. That Lotus Orb, can't forget. Ooh, Shadow Blade on the Witch Doctor. AU's gotten a pretty decent amount of farm this game, honestly. We are 50 minutes in, so I guess you would expect the supports to start finding some core items at this point, but Glimmer Cape right into Ags, man. This Witch Doctor's already had his big team fight. We'll see if he can find another. Prophet now picking up a Mjolnir at some point. Maelstrom first, of course. Really good for split pushing. All those lightning storms bouncing around. Chain lightnings, I suppose. Also quite a bit of damage in the fights. All that attack speed does synergize with this build that he's gone for here with the Orchid as well as the Hex Stick. A lot of utility, but also a lot of right-click. He hits for nearly 300 a pop. That is certainly nothing to scoff at. But now magic immunity becoming more of a priority. Invoker's picked up his BKB. And WG.Unity playing this one so much more defensive now. They were the aggressors for most of this game, but now that we're 52 minutes in, they've got a few buybacks on cooldown. It's almost like watching a different team. Although, as I say that, the Dark Seer as well as the Ember Spirit will have their buybacks up in just about 15 seconds. So they'll have that ability to get a little bit more aggressive and try and make something happen outside of the base if they're so inclined. This gem has changed hands a couple times this game, but Winter G, the small sun, has reclaimed it for himself. 2 minutes left on the Aegis. The question is, will WG.Unity try to make a play with it, or do they just let this one expire? Ember Spirit with about 7k gold. Could be looking at his second Battle Fury. Wonder what he's going to go for. If it's another crit, if it's another Battle Fury, or if he just goes for like a BKB or something. I think damage is definitely the play, though. I think one of these is going to be where it's at, depending on if he feels like he wants more cleave in these fights, or if he just wants the RNG for that extra bit of crit and just damage. I think the double crit might be slightly better this game. Though, Mjolnir up now on the Nature's Prophet. What's OD working on? Picked up that Scythe of Vice. Man, already another 3,000 gold. We're in stalemate territory here, folks. Both these teams just sitting back, farming away on their respective sides of the map. Dire getting some wards down, though, on their side. They've got some pretty good ward coverage here. Take a look at their vision. They've at least got the area outside of their base secured. Radiant going to have slightly more well-rounded ward coverage here. It's turning into a snoozer. Farm, farm, farm. It's a really odd stalemate. It feels like both teams are just in this state where they're waiting for the other one to get hyper-aggressive and make a bad play. The Aegis is just seconds from expiring here. So for TNC, their window may be approaching where they can take a fight. 3-2-2 is the Roshan timer. What are the chances? So it's going to be a quickie. Just a couple of seconds after that initial timer. Not sure which team that really favors. Might just favor the game at large. Bring some action towards the Roche pit. OD now with a Shiva's Guard. Going back for more int-based items. At this stage of the game, it's all about initiation. And even though it kind of feels to me like WG.Unity should have an advantage in terms of just raw damage they can put out with the amount of carries they have, TNC have the advantage in terms of initiation. You've now got Avenge with Aether Lens and a level 3 ultimate. Wonder he can swap from pretty far out. Both teams with massive mobility tools, blink daggers, force staves. It's all about initiation at this point. Who catches who, and who's able to counter-initiate more effectively. It's the name of the game for these team fights. And now that the Aegis is gone, TNC will feel a little more comfortable pressing into the enemy territory. Oh, smoke from the Dire. Radiant. Don't have the vision yet. Smoke gets broken. They go right in onto Raven. Swap from the bench. That'll buy him a little bit of time, but now Searing Chains on too. The BKB from Ember Spirit doing a lot of work. They need to focus on the Witch Doctor, and they will. They'll interrupt him first, but they've already lost their Invoker. Raven still feeling pretty healthy here. Now the buyback from the Invoker, and TNC will start to retreat. Force Staff helping out the Enchantress a bit there.
Thanks be to you.
A chaotic engagement, but good news for TNC. Couple of ultimates traded. Wall for the Death Ward as well as the Omni Slash. They kill the Invoker and force a buyback though, so well worth it for TNC. That was also the 10-second BKB on the Ember Spirit, so it will be on cooldown for another 30 seconds or so. Dire still have their glyph, so they can definitely still make a hold here. This is tough for TNC. They don't really have an easy way to break the high ground here. But they can rest easy knowing that if they kill the Invoker, it will be a dieback. He does have the cheese, though, and a BKB, so easier said than done. He's got a 10-second BKB. Oh, God. Searing Chains on the Jug. EMP, Tornado. He'll be fine. He's got the level 2 Diffusal now, so he does have 8 more charges. Sweet Jesus. Some pings coming out down bottom. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, God. Kill me. Kill me. Let's listen to some happy music. All right, 2 left. Sweet Jiminy Crickets. Gee. Oh, shit. All right. That happy music.
I was meant to have this.
Okay. So, we're back. And the stalemate continues. So the aftermath of that fight was creeps in the bottom lane almost pushed in, and then didn't. And in the mid, well, they killed a ranged barracks. Melee's still standing, and we're dead even. The game continues. And Roche is up. So 3-2-2 Big Daddy. Aegis cheese. There is still a cheese on the Invoker. And again, Dire move right into the pit. Radiant tried to smoke in last time, but they were too slow. They're already smoked up now. They should be somewhat aware of the chance that this could be going on. Come on, boys, you gotta go. You gotta go. Get in there, TNC. Get moving, you slow bastards. Oh, they're gonna hand it over again. Son of a bitch. All right, WG.Unity, get Aegis cheese again. This time, Aegis goes onto the Enchantress, but it's Teehee with a BKB. Jumps in, juices the Lion. And Jug will use his ult to bring down the Aegis as well. Darkseer, wall vacuum up on the high ground. BKB now used by the Ember Spirit, trying to bring down OD, but a defensive Astral's there. Enchantress dies, buys back, and she's right back into the game. Invoker doing some decent damage, level 25 with the maxed out Deafening Blast, but the follow-up just isn't there. It's the Darkseer that's going to get locked down. They turn him into a piggy, and they put him on the fire. Now on the other side, it's Vengeful Spirit getting brought down by the Venge, but good use of the fog from Winter. My God, he baits her in, stays alive. Now Cheese gets eaten by the Invoker, but he gets brought down, and this could be the beginning of the end here for WG.Unity. Invoker and Enchantress in the grave without a buyback. Darkseer will go ahead and use his right away. Lion coming up in about 25 seconds does have a buyback, and just like that, TNC break this game wide open. A huge net worth swing, and they're going to start cutting through this base like butter. Glyph comes out, and it's the only one that they've got. Now a buyback from the Nature's Prophet. TNC going in deep. There's the OD with the Shivas. Sets it up with the Hex, and he'll bring down the Ember Spirit. Instant buyback as well. Now the Lion dies. It's a dieback for him, and that's it. GG is called. It's a long nail-biter of a game. Despite many pauses, it is TNC that comes out big in the end, and WG.Unity will be eliminated here. My God, a pretty epic game, all things considered. Of course, pauses are never ideal, but pretty darn close until the end there. And I really thought WG.Unity had the squad to make this happen. They had a really big lead in that mid game and just threw it away with a couple of bad team fights, a little bit of bad positioning, and TNC were able to make it happen. I have to say, that Vengeful Spirit, man, Winter G, the small sun, made some serious big plays that game. Broke 2 smokes in the fog at the end there, hiding out in that tree line to bait in the Enchantress. That was the dieback that helped secure them the win. Beautifully done. We're not going to talk about it too long, though, because, well, we've got another lobby that's about ready to rock and roll. I'm Zyori from moonducktv. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a lot more Dota 2 coming your way after this break.